Hello, everybody. Welcome to this kind of impromptu live. My name is Janae Jones, astrologer and writer from Spiritual Gangster Certified, and I think this is a very important conversation for us to be having. I have with me Marie Russo, aka Jovi Saturn. Say hi, Marie.
Hello. No, yes, I'm Marie Russo, Jovi Saturn, astrologer, over a decade, software engineer and writer, and I'm happy to be here on this very important panel.
Thank you so much, Marie. And then we have Ra Akhu of COZMOPHYZIX. Please come in and say hi, Ra.
Peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you just fine. And we also have Sam Reynolds, who is, I have to say, the reason for this talk. He inspired it just because he shared knowledge.
Well, yes, Sam Reynolds here from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I don't know how to introduce myself. I always suck at that.
That's okay. Say what you think people should know.
That's a Scorpio thing.
Right, exactly. So one thing, I'm very, this, for folks who are joining us, this is history in the making. So Ra and I have known each other and have gone to bat at each other initially for 17 years ago. We haven't done that recently. And so what really is heartwarming for me is for us to be on this panel with Marie, with Janae, and coming together to talk not just about what happened with Stephen Forrest, but to talk about us and to talk about what's happening with us related to astrology and related to the idea of this affinity space, which I heard from another Black astrologer, rather than calling it a community, because we have to talk about the astrology community as communities. There is no one community.
Absolutely.
So I'm not giving them that, because there's always different levels and ways of operating. So I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. We are so happy to hear you. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
That was an excellent point to make. There's no astrological community. Mm-hmm. That was profound, because they everywhere, even amongst our own, we're fractal.
Indeed.
Okay? You know, and I don't really think it's something that requires a universal approach. This isn't Catholicism. You understand what I'm saying? And astrologers are gonna develop their own perspectives, and therefore we're going to have a fractal community, but that can work for us. It gives people variety. Okay, so but what has happened in the overall astrological the gathering spaces for astrologers is how we should look at that, because I've been online since the late 90s, and I have not to date ever gone into an astrological space where it was diverse, racially diverse, and did not experience racism. Okay, but what people should realize is astrology is no different than any other subject or field of interest.
Boom. Yep.
And when I bring that up to say, why are y'all surprised at the racism in astrology? Where are you going to go in this culture that you're not going to experience it?
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Okay. So my remedy was to create my own space, not to cater to them, because they'll let you in as long as you're not too loud, as long as you're not too black.
Well, why don't you talk about that, Rob? What space have you created? Introduce them to COZMOPHYZIX.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I created my own brand long before I created my own space for it. I had my own brand because I taught myself astrology. I didn't have any instructor or anyone that was willing to sit down with me and show me the rudiments. So the more I studied it, the more I realized that it wasn't about the Greek term. First, let me bring you back to during the beginning of the movement, when it was Afrocentric, and we were eschewing the Roman and eschewing the Greek, and anything that was not African in its origin, we were not identifying with that. So that was part of the propulsion there's part of what propelled me to call it cosmophysics, right? Both of those Greek terms too, while I was busy calling myself anti-Greek, you know. Right? So I wanted to stand apart from what they were doing. So I developed a different name for my brand of astrology. And and this started back in the early 90s, before my school and before any prominence was gained with it. I started my own groups on MSN. And it was at that point that I realized whatever social site that I get involved in, if we're able to create groups, I'm going to create my own group because of the racism that I experienced in those other groups. What was deep, my first encounter with racism online was, for the longest time, I was anonymous. In other words, people couldn't see my face. And the ability to go live didn't exist. There was no video.
Right. No, it was none of that.
So you had to post pictures of yourself for people to see you. So for the first 3 years, I'm oblivious to the racism because I haven't experienced any. Didn't realize it was because I had never uploaded my picture. So when Black Planet came to my awareness, I was posting pictures there. And some white astrologer looked me up online and let everybody at MSN groups know that I was Black. And at that point, I started to experience the racism, because it wasn't until they knew that I was Black that they even had anything to say about it. So that was the beginning of my encounter with racism online, engaging in the astrological communities. And it's still there. You know, as soon you're not gonna until racism is entirely eradicated, you're not gonna be able to avoid encountering it. You're going to encounter it. The thing is, people need to be made aware of the fact that, you know, the same thing with the movement. We're people. You see what I'm saying? And our cultures and our perspectives are different for 1,000 reasons. Okay, not just oppression. They're different because the way we do things is different. Okay, our music is different. You know, and this is what I realized. I can start my own space because whatever we build, they love to jump aboard. Especially once we've got it established, they love to become a part of this. So it wasn't so much acceptance that I was looking for. It was ground to stand upon to call my own. And at this very moment, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, my story is a little different in the sense that it didn't completely start online, and it starts mainly around 2000, around your same time, Ra. And I, after 10 years of study, pretty much decided, after I moved to New York, I was in Philadelphia. I moved to New York, was introduced to NCGR, and I learned that they had a conference. They have seasonal conferences in the fall and the spring. So I went to their conference, and Robert Zoller, an astrologer who actually was part of Project Hindsight, was there. And I had two significant encounters. One was with him. The other one was, you know, and I was the only Black person there. And I got on an escalator. Now, I don't think any of you have met me in person. Ra, you know this because you once kind of clowned me for it or tried to. I'm short. Oh, no.
Hold on. He's a fucking Scorpio to the bone.
Yeah, he never let that go.
Hold on. Let me interrupt. This is a polite interruption. I just told my wife about that specifically, right? Okay. Now, and I told you then, I still have the same opinion because it hasn't changed. A lot of the Pisces rising people I meet are under 5'9". A lot of them. See, and So I use that when I'm reading the Pisces rising. The first thing I say is, are you of tall or short stature? Because I know a lot of them to be short, right?
We're gonna do another live where you guys are we're gonna hash out the historics of the Sam and Ra saga, because there's a saga between.
There's a saga here, man.
No, but let me just say what I wanted to interrupt to say was he totally took me wrong. He thought I was clowning him. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I was crude in the way I conveyed it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm a crude moment anyway.
Wait. But that wasn't, just to be clear, it wasn't that I was like deep in my feelings about it, despite being I was like, how the fuck he know? I was like, that was pretty good. His kung fu is strong. Okay.
I'm gonna let you know. I found that in the A to Z Astrological Horoscope Maker and Delineator in 1998. That and I've been using it ever since. Like people with that book said, and I researched it, so I agree. And I don't disagree because I found it in the book. I've used it, right? And whenever I get an Aries or a Pisces rising, you know, those two signs are signs of fast ascent.
That's also true,
north,
right?
In the north. Yeah. So I said to myself, "Damn, these people are short." So I started using it. Now let me tell you the advantage of using it is because I was doing the psychic network, and to just come out, you have to be able to.
Oh, you just wanted to fuck them up. You just
wanted
to fuck them up. You wanted to fuck them up.
To this day, I call it a carnival trick. Okay, because astrologically speaking, there are physical qualities that come with the rising sign.
Absolutely. But let me finish my story.
Yeah. We started getting to astrology, get excited.
No, I had to interrupt that because you used the term clown you, and I said you still feel like I was clowning you. I wasn't.
I thought you were. I didn't receive it that way. Like I said, I was just like, okay, what was that? But how did he do that? Yeah. But anyway, I'm short, and why I'm bringing it up. So I'm 4'11", so he was really on point. And so I get on an escalator with 3 white women ahead of me, during lunch at this conference. And don't you know, one of them looked back and then grabbed her bag and held it closer to her. I was like, lady, like, what do you think is going to happen here? Like, you got a foot over me, actually. You think I'm just going to run by and grab it? And what's interesting is that woman later did become a friend, but I never forgot that. And I was like, oh, even in this place, in this space, I'm dealing with that. Now, the other part of that event was Robert Zoller, who was part of Project Hindsight, and the 3 Robs, Robert Zoller, Robert Hand, and Robert Schmidt. Robert Zoller was speaking there, and he, in a room full of white people, because like I said, I was the only black person there, in a room full of white people, he says, well, we actually have the Moors to thank for bringing astrology to us because we were practically huddled in caves in Europe. And I had to physically look around and see, like, I got to see how these people reacted. Did this white man just say that to these people? Wow. Go on Google. I've never heard a white man do that. I got to meet this man. So that was my first actual full teacher in experiencing that. But I was like, oh, they know. Now, I knew this from African American studies, but I didn't know they knew because they've always denied it. Like I've read various different texts related to the development, using philology related to the development of ancient classical culture. And one of the things I always say to my students and other people is that Northern Europe appropriated Greek or Hellenistic and Roman civilization, whereas those civilizations hated Northern Europeans. They called them barbar.
Yeah.
And so they appropriated that and say like, well, that's our roots. Bitch, when? It's not.
Yeah.
But for him to say what he said, for Robert Zoller to say what he said, I was like, okay, some of them do know. So I want to know more about this. And so that was one beginning of my journey related to more the institutional aspects of astrology. So it was a little different. Then I got online. I got on MySpace, and that's where I met Chris Brennan and Patrick Watson and Moses Sirigar. And then from MySpace, and that's when I went to Facebook. And I think that's where I encountered Ra And I was like, who's this Negro? Who's it? And like blah blah blah. And we went at it for a while, and then Twitter is where we got in, other spaces, or I created more of my brand and name in astrology. And one big story I was sharing with all of you before, the three of you before we got on, is I went to NCGR even after I went through the 3 levels of their certification. And I said, well, I would like to teach and speak now. They're like, yeah, no, not really. Why don't you whatever. And I'm not going to just attribute that to racism. I don't know what that was. Right. But it's like my moon in Leo was like, okay, bet. I'm going to build my brand. I'm not coming back to you. You're going to come to me. And that's what happened. They came to me. Isar came to me and said, well, why don't you run? Why don't you run for being on the board? And I resisted it for a long time. But I care about astrological education. I also care about creating safer spaces for us. But I also care more about knowing trajectories. And our trajectory is the global majority is going to become even more the global majority. And these institutions have resources that we can use, knowledge that we can use, knowledge that was stolen that we need to reclaim. I'll just say that for now.
I love it.
I became aware for the longest time. I was of the mind too that astrology was white boy stuff. Okay, I grew up in an environment where intellectual pursuits were downplayed. Okay, they were demasculinized and attributed to the aspirations of women. Okay, astrology included. So when I got into the science, I had no clue of the history of astrology. I was merely in it to learn how to do it. I was fascinated with it on my own. It wasn't until I read this book, the Britannica Encyclopedia. I was reading about Septimus Severus, the Carthaginian African Roman of Rome, and what the Britannica had to say blew my mind. Okay, and what they said, I'm going to quote: Septimus Severus was an astrologer, as all Africans of his day were expected to be.
Wow.
That's what blew me. That was in the Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, I recently looked for that passage. It's no longer in this.
Oh, they took it out.
Yeah, they took it out. Yeah, because what they don't realize is that we taught astrology to the Greeks and Romans. You see?
Yes.
That's all I wanted to say.
There is a scholar out there who I'm going to give credit to. His name is Dr. Ali Alomi, who has actually reframed the idea of Western astrology as Afroasiatic, which I think is more the proper term.
Okay.
Whereas it comes from Africa, related to Egypt and beyond, even going toward Southern Africa, south of the Sudan, and then Asia, as we might include India, includes Turkey, includes all those spaces. I might even dare say it could include Greece, related to the idea that Greece is so close to what we call Asia. Anyone who's looking at these new movies, The Odyssey, where they're talking about Troy, I'm like, where was Troy? Troy was Turkey. But that's Asia. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really properly more as Afroasiatic.
Well, part of our tension, my man, was that you are a mainstream education used the mainstream, and your argument was there's not many mainstream support in history to support the idea. I was advocating that astrology was from Africa, from Egypt, and we were going back and forth on that back in the day.
We were, but now, you were saying it exclusively. You said it was exclusively from Africa.
Hey, and look, man. Let me correct myself now, because you would be surprised now to learn that I advocate that it is from America. Yeah, that'll blow your mind, Sam. Let me let you know something, man. The mounds, the ancient mounds here that are older than the pyramids, that are older than Stonehenge over there, are all astronomically aligned. And in the Greek mythology, if you want to use the oral traditions as a historical source, They talked about the temple of Apollo and being beyond the Ouroboros, or beyond the whatever they call that, the Ouroboros, the winterland. So in my mind, they knew about astrology they knew about America back in the day, and all of those Greek heroes, I believe, were American. So that'll blow your mind. Saturn took it from.
Now we got 2 lives that we got to do. We got to do the Sam Roll, and then we're gonna have to do one for this.
Listen,
okay,
I don't believe that modern astrology, in the form that it is in right now, was what they were practicing back then. I don't. But I believe. Yeah. But I do not believe there was ever anywhere on this planet a building culture that did not implement stellar symbolism into their culture.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I mean anywhere, Peru, North America, they're all astronomically aligned, all of those mounds. So there's nothing in my mind to exclude the idea that they might have known about the astrological effects.
100%. We're here. Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah, so I see this as a demonstration just now, just based off of the topic, because we're going to end up getting excited about astrology.
Yes, we are.
We're going to go around the world, but just to demonstrate that, for Sam and Ra, who have been in this astrological community for decades, not, I'm talking, like you said, before social media was a thing where they had to navigate these industries, they were doing research. They were having breakthroughs. Some of them have created their own methods that aren't even published in books today that are working, because these men have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes that is not acknowledged, which is a big part of what's going on here. So I just saw this as a demonstration of people who have historical knowledge, which I'm going to be my Scorpio rising self and take a jab. This is real shadow work, because you have to be well informed in order to have it. It can't just be about how you're feeling. I think that what probably comes into, and I'm going to use Uranus and Gemini, the breaking of the mind in dealing with something like this, is that I saw a few comments when, as the racism is becoming the topic of discussion in astrology, is that we're a love and light being. This is a love and light science or art. This is we're supposed to know, and we are technically, if you are an astrologer, you should be well versed in all aspects and understanding of life, because every symbolism, every planet, every sign indicates a million things underneath that description. So you should be very well educated and versed in using this science. But there's an idea that we're supposed to behave a certain way using it.
Yes.
At all times, that when they hear the other side, because I heard it specifically even in the live, I can't fathom, I can't imagine, I can't believe. That tells me there's a real problem with the belief system here. There's a real problem in the way that you're cognitively looking at these situations. The information that you have may be lacking, because that type of confusion for what we do and who we are in this industry is, I understand it, is unfathomable at the same time. It's a paradox, because I can't believe that if you are in this field, that you are not aware. Jupiter in Sagittarius says explore. You have that somewhere in your chart. Where are all the Black astrologers? I don't really like seeing that. I love it because we're all getting the attention that we need. But the fact that it needs to be asked in 2026, it breaks my heart. How come?
It's true.
It's so easy to go look for everyone else with this knowledge. They would listen to someone else, a white person on a conference panel, before they just listen to Ra's research, because he does this every day. This is his life and his business, into astrology and the histories of it and anthropology alongside of it. We'll never go and explore, well, what does this person have to say? Where are these people? But why do I have to tell you to look for us? Do you not know we exist already? So that's why I'm saying the unfathomability of others is unfathomable to me. Amen. If you say that you're educated and you understand astrology as it works. I beg to differ. I don't think that the people who claim that they know astrology are actually understanding that it is the language of our lives and the universe and every asset and facet inside of it. So if you know that, if you accept and understand that, don't ask me where the Black astrologers are. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
It is. But yeah. But we're out here. I mean, there's so many of us out here. And one of the things we were talking about earlier, one of the things I'm very happy about is seeing that there are more Black women being present in this space, from, you know, Janelle Belgrave to Mecca Woods,
Yes.
to Imani Harmon. I mean, the list is Ebony Bledsoe. It's getting quite large. And I think you, Janae, you, Marie, you know, I don't know why I put a French thing.
I love how he just said
Because I am Creole.
It just came through.
Jeanette, we have Jeanette and Nakri.
That's where it went. So yeah, we're
Believe me, they be in the background. They wish people would pronounce the names like that more often. So you did it.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, but anyway, because when Ra and I were out there weren't many Black astrologers, period, that we knew of.
Yes.
That we knew of, and I want to emphasize that. And there weren't many Black women. Most of them were men. The men who were in mainstream spaces, and one of them is going to, I don't think he's actually going to make it this time, unfortunately, was Basil Farrington. You remember Basil, Ra? Do you remember him?
No.
He's more of a
This is my
Uranian
first
astrology.
Okay,
Basil
yeah.
Farrington and James Coleman. He's not going to be there as an astrologer, but I knew of them.
Mhm.
But they were predominantly the two Black astrologers I knew of that were in those larger spaces. Now we have a good number of them, Black astrologers who will be presenting in these spaces and beyond, right? Whether that's NORWAC, UAC, more online, more who have their own platform.
Mhm.
You know, Dana Knuckles in terms of People's Oracle as one of them, who's a sidereal astrologer, right?
Yeah, I know
Those-
Dana. I know Dana.
Yeah. So we out here. We're getting out there. It's just a matter of like folks being able to find us, or go on, Ra.
It takes people like us, okay, to bring it to our people, to show them, not to tell them, but to show them we can do this too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The idea that it's a white man's practice, it's a white man's science, is advocated by the racists and the ignorant.
Yes.
I would have everyone here know that it is older than the concept of race. It thus precedes. It thus precedes white people, Chinese
Absolutely.
people, Latinos, or any other type of people other than the original people of this planet. Because it is so old, it is older than any scrap of evidence you want to bring forth. We have the Ishango bone to prove that man has been mapping the heavens since more than 20,000 years ago. So, you know, you think that it would only take a couple hundred years to bring it to a point of realization that it can be used. So it has been a part of society and our culture from the beginning of recorded history, okay, and beyond, and before recorded history. So this is what I put forth to all my people who think that race has anything to do with it. It is ours. Come get it.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Someone's probably really pissed off somewhere right now. We don't care.
Listen,
But
Well, they don't even grasp the idea that, okay, so for example, when I was listening to, like, they think it's just a word. And I made a post about this where I was explaining that even when it comes to them being racist and saying the word in there, right?
yeah.
I don't have the same image in my brain as I do for white people saying it. It's two different things. And when I'm bringing that up to say that there are levels and facets of what we have to do in this astrological community that we've always had to do in every other institution. So we're already fighting the battle of making astrology itself respectable. I know that Ra and Sam and Jeanette and many and people like Everese, Marcoux, Kateria, Wise, all these people have been trying to push out that astrology is valid, that it can be used if used properly, that it's mathematical, that it's also scientific as well as an art. So we're already fighting the battle of people, you know, calling you stupid for doing astrology. So now that you're on social media, the more that you say that you're doing astrology, oh, you're dumb, you believe in that. I guess it's Mercury oil changing day or something. You know, they try to make fun and means it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's already, we're fighting for the respectability of what we do. And then now we have to fight the institutions and whether or not people are charlatans or surface. We had to fight the magazine astrology, as we used to call that, the cosmopolitan astrology.
Yes.
There's more to it than just your sun sign. So now we're fighting how people are using it and who's using it. Then it starts coming into, since social media hits, we have scammers now. Now we got to deal with people who are stealing astrology while trying to make sure that people understand that there's more to it than solar astrology, while fighting that it is something that should be respected as an art and a gift and a science, right? So already we're at like 3-4 layers, okay? Then we have to deal with sexism in astrology. So now we have the gender roles of men dominating astrology, even though women, we had this discussion before we came in here, was that men wrote most of the astrology books, were running most of the experience, most of the conferences, most of the institutions. And it was women that would go to them for readings or consultation, or Sam, as you mentioned, politicians or anyone in the upperclassmen that would use it for like families and work and stuff. So then we have that layer of it was men, then women start coming in, then it gets turned into, if a woman is doing it, it's all flowery, spiritual, there's no depth, it's all psychological, there's no mundane astrology in it, we don't really do real math. So now we're fighting gender. Then we have to fight racism.
Yeah, and let's not forget the other dimensions of it, transphobia.
Right, we have to fight sexism, genderism, racism, on top of people not believing that it's a real science on art, on top of showing people that there's more to it than just your sun sign, on top of even just proving that astrology is valid.
Yes.
That's what they don't understand. White people are not down here all the time. They're like on level 4 fighting up. Black people are always, minus if they're not LGBT, but a lot of us have friends, family, and associates and stuff that are fighting from rung 7. From the bottom rung of hell must we come up to the right.
Dante's Inferno shit.
Dante's Inferno. That's what we are. The Dante's Inferno of astrology. So that's what they don't get. That's why to them, oh, you're woke mob. You're upset. How can you, there's racism. We're supposed to be past that and stuff. Yeah, it's easy to say when you're standing up here fighting up.
Yes.
And you don't have to fight any of these coming up. This is the issue that we're dealing with. And the fact that to know astrology and not get to the point that, okay, I may be up on rung 3. I know they're on rung 7. I saw a fucking live the other day on YouTube, whole panel of white people totally missing the mark on every fucking thing because they're starting on rung 3. They have no idea what it's like to fight from the bottom up to then be accepted. Like Sam, I'm going to say, out of all the Black astrologers that were able to get into conventions or to be published, like as many of us as exist right now, it's you and maybe like 2 other people. That's crazy.
Just to correct you, for this particular conference, UAC, there's at least 13 of us.
Okay, now there's 13. Right.
Now, let me talk a little more about that, because when I first went to my first UAC in 2012, I could count the number of folks attending there on maybe 2 hands, and maybe if I borrowed someone else's. In 2018, there were fewer Black speakers, but also there were more Black people in attendance, so I couldn't count them all on 2 hands. I think there's going to be even more at this particular conference. So yeah. There's work that has been done, and there's more work to be done. But going to your point, many white people don't understand the monster that they have created in racism.
Absolutely.
They don't know what it is, and they created it. They don't even really know they created it. They think it's something that's always existed. It has not. It is their vision and for their benefit. And that's why we are, by design, put toward the bottom, and they're put more toward the middle or the top, in some level, regardless of the class that they were born into. Now, in some levels, that's not always true, but it's often very true. So I think that's something that they don't fully understand. So they think like, well, why are you doing that? So I had a woman on Facebook who'll go nameless. I want to say her name is Karen, but I don't know. She just goes by something with a K in it. But
Karen is sufficient.
Yeah, Karen is sufficient. Homegirl says online, well, maybe all of us should use the word and take the power out of it. And
sorry.
Marie and me are very.
But no, I had to put her straight. I was like, listen, you've never had to live with that. We have had to live with it. And
Absolutely.
one story I told her is that in 2022, my cousin, actually in Buffalo, I'm from Buffalo, New York. My cousin was actually shot at that Tops Market where that boy came from another part of New York. And he was shot. He was not killed. He was lucky. He was grazed. But 10 other Black people were killed. And he actually came with the explicit purpose of killing Black people because he didn't want to be replaced. He didn't write in his manifesto the N word, but he might as well.
Yeah.
So she's saying like, we're going to take the power. I was like, do you realize how crazy? I didn't say it quite this way. You guys are right. I have a Venus in Libra. I can be very diplomatic when I need to be.
Yeah.
But I can be mean. I can be very mean when I don't have anything. I don't care. But I was like, do you understand that not having to live with that word, what kind of privilege that gives you?
Amen.
And then you think you're going to take the power out of it by virtue of like everyone using it? No.
I'm saying it again.
They're insane. That's what I wrote in the article that stood out so much. To like the part that I needed to put in there, how I feel about language. Like, and I'm already getting attacked without people fucking reading it, which is exasperating. But to use that word, they're like, why are you reclaiming it? That's showing your own racism. Shut up. This is not your conversation. You do not get to be defined for years by that word, so you don't get to say shit. Now, you can if you want to, but there's consequences.
The thing is, human nature is a marvelous thing, okay? And people have emotional response to everything, regardless how subtle, okay?
Yes.
They do not realize the vehemence that is attached to the word.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
Because it isn't that they don't understand the word. They understand perfectly that it's a put down because it's their first resort.
Right. That's the difference I was saying between when Black people say, well, how come Black people can say it? Because when my cousin tells me that, I'm not picturing pitchforks and strange fruit. Okay. I'm picturing my cousin, my family, barbecue, culture, hip hop. Coming from their mouths, when they want to talk about context, let's talk about the context of whose throat that word comes out of and what's attached to it historically. Okay.
Right.
I cannot get it out. Like you said, I cannot get it out of my head. If a white person says it, I have to go through my little file of fucking racism of the world. Like, I cannot help it. That is the first thing that comes to mind when it comes out of their mouth. It is not the first thing that comes to mind when I hear my people use the word, which is what was part of the whole reclaiming the word in the first place. And then my whole thing is they want everyone to stop using it. And this is where I disagree. We should all stop using it. That was the way. No, you want me to collapse it because you can't participate?
Yeah.
You want to say it that bad? You really, we know we want to say it that bad. And I'll use an example how bad they want to say it. Stephen Forrest censored himself twice.
He did.
He self-censored twice
and
before he dropped it.
Before that, he referenced it with nostalgia, like that shit wasn't.
He did.
Yes, with glee.
He said, well, we used to be able to use the word, the N word. Then he expressed remorse for not still
being able to use
it.
Dressed up as a racist Colonel Sanders, mind you.
And the whole time, this cat was studying the Black man he was talking to
see the response.
Yeah, man. You got to go see the interview.
I think we also need to look at the bigger picture of that video. Like, one could study and do a dissertation on that video alone. And one of the things I find fascinating is there's three things, at least he dropped, there's more than that, but at least three things we can focus in on beyond his use of that word, or two other things. One was him saying, I didn't think black people were as intelligent as white people until he was in his 30s. And the thing you need to look up, or people have already looked up, is that he had written books, had gotten awards, and he was a practicing astrologer. So how can we talk about, or we definitely have to talk about the fact that there were people who were coming to him, maybe black students, black people coming to him in consultations, and he didn't see them as fully the same. And that wasn't spoken with some measure of remorse or horror or anything. That was kind of like, well, I'm going to get a cookie. You know, I want you to applaud me for that. And the other big thing is dropping the name of, or someone introducing that his ancestor was the Grand Wizard of the KKK, who had the same name as he is or has, but also now it's come to light that may not have even been his ancestor.
Exactly. That makes it worse. That
makes it really worse. Like you, and then he's been saying, like, well, I was told that it was because they came into being in order to protect Southern women after the war. Did you never become
Birth of a Nation? Birth of a Nation propaganda.
I'm like, you were curious about that? And that particular person, Nathan Bedford Forrest, anyone can look him up on Wikipedia, and he has statues and different things up for him. He was a horrible man. It wasn't just that he was a Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Just a horrible
It was
man.
that he was also a slave owner and a enslaved trader, and also harassing black people even before the Civil War. And the KKK. Yeah. So I think what people don't understand in that context, using that N word, that sounds as if there's a tendency that you have a whole history with racism.
Yes.
Irrespective of whether you want to deem yourself a racist or not, it's kind of familiar. Like, as someone corrected me, because I would use the analogy, if someone used the C word, I don't like to use the C word related to women. If someone used the C word, and then also then said, like, well, I didn't realize women were as smart as men until I was in my 30s. And then said, well, I actually had an ancestor who in the early 1900s used to harass women who tried to organize for the suffragette moment and movement in order to preserve the family. If someone had said that, I think more white women would have been up in arms and like, I don't know if I can trust this man. But when we do it, we are like, well, why are you so angry? Well, can't you be inclined toward forgiveness? And as one astrologer has said, this was a baby mistake.
Yeah.
That's what I put in there too. The forgiveness without the examination fully of the harm. The people that jumped into the article about what you brought onto my radar in the first place with that 2013 newsletter, it wasn't even about Stephen. I was simply saying that I'm seeing everybody having a fit about what's going on with Stephen Forrest. I'm at work. So I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking into things. I come across your post and I go, Stephen can wait. Let me look down this rabbit hole. I go down it, write about it, and people come, well, you'll see it. I'm going to post stuff in the comments so people can see what I'm talking about. It's in the article itself. But the defense that they came to before they even knew it was talked about meant to me, you're more concerned with somebody that you put on a pedestal. I have had his books. I'm his Facebook friend, for fuck's sake. You're more concerned with the thought that he could be seen as racist than what I actually wrote about, which is extremely racist. And they refuse to read it. And they accuse me of all kinds of things without reading. This situation has just frustrated me beyond any level of frustration. Just to see people's cognitive dissonance and then their confirmation bias. I'll drop some more stuff in the comments. So
it's got to go
both. If you haven't read.
It's really, to be fair, it has got to go both ways. And what do I mean? What am I pointing to? We're pointing to their oblivion of our condition. Okay. Yeah. You can't be oblivious to their condition either. Okay. You have to realize where their ignorance comes from. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not their fault. They've been raised in it. They've been raised up in it, so exposed to it constantly that adopting that ideology, 50%, let's say they don't subscribe to it entirely, in their mind enables them to say they're not even racist. They don't even realize when they're being racist. Do you get
right?
Absolutely.
Okay?
Right.
Like,
They don't understand it.
Right. Like what Sam said, that woman turned around and realized that there was a black man behind her, so she clutched her purse. No, she did that to let him know, I'm not comfortable with you niggers. You see, that's what that is. Because, walking down the street, you crossing the intersection, all of a sudden you hear all these doors clicking, click, 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 click. And I was like, if I wanted to get at you, I'd throw a cinder block through your windshield. I don't need to, you locking doors is more of a message to you. That's more of the passive aggressive nigger in the room announcement than it is their actual insecurity.
Thank you for proving a point too. I oh my God, a couple of points. One, you using the word, I was like, okay. This is a black man who's speaking his history. There's no flinching. And white people, you don't like to hear that. You don't understand it for two things they just showed you that you are unaware of. I had this conversation with two of my gay besties, two white boys in North Georgia. They're good friends of mine too, right? And we were having this discussion, and I told them, I said, the reason why it may be so difficult climbing that rung, as I mentioned before, is something else that both of you have, that we all have. I asked them, I said, tell me about your family history right now. I want to hear what your grandfather or your father or your mother passed down to you. What kind of stories did they tell you about your family members? And, they'll mention things like, oh, they used to vacation over here, or they would go to grandma's farm. And I was like, okay, let me tell you some history that gets passed down to me from my uncles, from my aunts, from my grandparents. My uncle was run over by a horse and carriage when he was 12 years old in rural Louisiana. My cousin was 17 years old when he was almost lynched. The branch broke and he was able to run home. My mother, mind you, I'm in my 40s. I'm young 41. My mother went to a segregated school in Louisiana, in rural Louisiana. Those are the stories that are passed down to me. Do you have anything like that in your family history? Has any one of your family members ever mentioned something horrific like that happening? And I'm not talking about normal murders or death and poison, because they'll be like, yeah, I had family members that died. They told me about that. I said, but was it because they were white that happened to them? They don't have that history passed down. Thus, the foundation that they're growing up with, like you said, is oblivious because they are missing stories in their hero's journey, where we have those stories already embedded in us from a very young age, because we listen to our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, our fathers, our mothers talk about the racism that they've gone through, which is why they're like, why can't you get over it? Because my mother just told me last week what happened. And I have to contemplate that I am growing up with that I have family members still alive that are dealing to overcome what happened to them in their youth, or happened to people they knew in their youth. That is much different than me growing up. So they're missing that foundation. I would say at the very least, they shouldn't be ignorant to that. I don't agree that they should, we're trying to overcome racism. It's never going away. But until they can stop and just say, okay, like Sam said earlier, they're coming from a different playing field, that I'm missing pieces of story that I'll never have in my foundation moving forward, that why all the arguments for anyone else that's being influenced by their arguments, because I also pay attention to that. Some of these comments influence people who are sitting on the fence. Let me tell you, fence sitters, they are missing our historical fucking history. They are missing our stories. They are missing our experiences. They are ill-equipped to make a decision based off of it.
I want to go even a little farther. They are missing themselves. They are missing their history. White people, someone said this on Threads, which I wholly agree with. White people were colonized by other white people and lost themselves. They lost some aspects of their souls, in many of them going from their traditional religions their traditional
Yeah,
cultures.
they're pagans wiped away. Right.
Go more. And I don't even want to say that word because pagan just means, country folk. Right?
Right.
Pagan, more their ancestral condition and connection, which somehow we've been able to keep despite it being trying to be beaten out of us. Right? Yes. And some measure of our history, some measure of that connection, and they have lost that. One of my issues, I'm going to say this, and I don't know how people are going to respond to it. I'm not worried about y'all, but other people. One of my issues with Sinners, and I thought in many ways it was a powerful film. But one of my issues with it is that Remy, the white vampire, and there's no spoilers now, because if you haven't seen the movie, you're fucking not going to see it. I don't know.
Catch up.
Right, catch up. But Remy, one of the reasons why he's drawn to Sammy, right, is because he, as an Irishman, had lost some measure of his roots to his Irishness. Right. And he was longing for that. So my issue is that I think we need to break that open, not because we're trying to heal white folk. It's like, here's your wound that you all need to attend to. We are not responsible for it. We shouldn't spend any energy trying to fix that for you, but this is why you keep trying to come for us. You have lost yourselves. In the effort to become white, in the effort to create this Western civilization and Europe, you have mythologized yourself into your own absence. And by virtue of that, it becomes a negligence and a violence against other people around the world. Mm-hmm. And it must stop.
Yo, let me affirm that shit from an experience I just had a few weeks ago on my page at Instagram. Some European astrologer came in there to question my method for measuring the ages. You dig? And he said, "You said black people only sub-Saharan Africans are black." So my response to, yeah, man, look how ignorant that was. He was like, he said, "You identify as black? You're not black. You're not from south of the Sahara." So what I was, I didn't address him a lot of it. I let the ignorance go because I don't have time for that dumb shit. I'm not here to fight racism. I'm here to promote astrology. So you did.
Facts.
But when he said that, I couldn't help but retort. And I said, "Listen, man, I've been sitting here letting you post on my page with this garbage. You don't know your own history. Mm-hmm. You don't know your own origins to be talking about the origin of black people, man."
Right.
See? And so y'all bring up an interesting point, and I have sentiments about that. They are not required to know our suffering.
Boom.
Okay? There.
Any more than we are required to know there. What they are required to do is treat us with dignity. I don't give a fuck that they don't know what happened to my forefathers and that they don't give credence to it if they do. You're going to treat me like a man or else. So this is my response to all of that racism. You dig? My first encounter with racism, period, I was 5 years old playing in my yard in Binghamton, New York. And a bunch of white boys came onto my yard. They were way bigger than me. And I was in kindergarten, so I can't even tell you how old they were. But they were way bigger than me. Kicking me, spitting on me, calling me nigger. Okay? That's my first encounter with racism. Everyone after that, like through high school and all that, it resulted in fistfights. Because, white boy calls you a nigger, you're obligated, according to the popular trend, to address that immediately and physically. You see? Mm-hmm. So this was my dealings with racism on a social level. When I encountered it in astrology, truly one part of me expected them to be above it, because if you're studying astrology, you should know.
That's what I said.
Human nature. But I gotta confess, the first white person I ever read in my life was a girl named Debbie Moran, who was born on my birthday. And when I started reading her, I had the mind that because the sun treats them differently, so does the planets. I soon learned that was an ignorant oversight. You dig? That it treats everybody and everything on this planet the same, and any astrologer who can't acknowledge that is not really doing his job with the information he's receiving.
Yep.
So I had to add that. I had to put that in there because you know, as an astrologer, that I know, and I demonstrated it at a lecture. I said everybody here, and I said a few Virgo traits, right? Everybody here who's experienced this, I want y'all to stand over here. And the people that separated themselves range from the age of 18 to 44. I read male and female. I read that whole group of people like I was reading one person.
Mm-hmm.
So as an astrologer, that the signs developed our characters, okay? And color has nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Skin color, melanin content, and I try to convey that to people with this. This is just as dangerous to your skin as it is to theirs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to realize
that's Mars.
How you want to realize how people carry their ignorance into this science, regardless of the evidence that exists within the science that shows you that classification, that human classification system of race is severely flawed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just had to throw that in there, because it's one of the thoughts that was stimulated by what the brother was saying. So that's it.
Yeah, no, all of this is excellent. And like I said, it was this was, I think people were looking for this. They're all like, where is the YouTube panel at? Where someone is saying it from our point of view. Because it wasn't happening.
To come in, y'all, too. I'm sorry. I got up to use the restroom and it looked like.
What happened?
So it looked like somebody was trying to come in as a guest. I hadn't shared the link though, so I
shared the wrong link. I shared the wrong link.
It's okay. It's okay. No problem. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Or missing somebody.
We're all the people who you wanted to have here are here. So that was my.
Yeah. No, and I want to give a shout out to a couple of people I recognize in there. Sabdet Ties was one of Ra's students. She's in here. Ever Reese, what's up, Ever Reese?
We both know Ever Reese. Yeah.
Yes.
Both of them are very good astrologers, thanks to me.
Yes, they are very good astrologers.
Yes.
And we got Homegirl Astrology, and we also have my student, you woman, Imani.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Hi, Imani.
I'm glad they're in attendance. And I'm sure that if we were able to bring them in here, they would have a narrative from their experiences.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
White people that aren't subject to the consequences of racism cannot sympathize with us. So wanting them to do so is a futile effort. Okay, you have to do what you do in your environment and be as much of an influence on the people you encounter as you can. To hear that guy, I forget his name, the one that used the N-word, say that he thought Stephen Miller, what's his name?
Stephen Forrest.
Stephen Forrest.
Yeah.
Stephen Forrest. To hear him say it, I wasn't even surprised because that's typical of their behavior. Most white people are racist.
They don't know it.
Yeah, they don't know it and they're racist in oblivion. Who was the person who did the live the other day on YouTube? What was her name? Andrea. I don't not say names. If I gotta say something, look, I'll tag you. Yeah, she said she was trying to make a point, and she said something about people who live on the equator are more aggressive. And then she's like, it's because of the heat. I'm all like, so people who are used to the heat are more aggressive because of the heat? Like, you're not that there's the racist trope in there. She was completely fucking like, what do you mean? People were in the comments telling her that was a racist trope, that's a stereotype, that do you understand exactly what you're saying? And she's like, but I'm talking about the weather. Oh my God. Yeah, they don't, no fucking clue.
I am not surprised. You know, at the age of 27, I came to the realization that most people are stupid.
Okay, never lied.
I actually that sounds like a very scorpionic thought that I can share.
No, listen.
I want to.
Let me finish, please. I came to the understanding that most people are stupid. What I mean by that term is that most people are not information gulpers.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot expect most people to be educated about why they feel about certain things, because they are not educated, because they are undereducated when it comes to human relations and human nature. Okay. So because of that, it doesn't really bother me as much as it used to. What bothers me is that people use it to get in the way of your progress. Like, you should be able to feel any way you want against me. How you feel about me, I don't give a fuck. Just don't get in my way.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is how I feel about racism. I'm 60 years old, more than 60 and a half. Okay. And I say that just to let you know, I've been enduring this bullshit for more than 5 decades, conscientiously more than 4. Okay. So consciously, pardon me, more than 4. So I've developed a tough skin to it, but to see it become an issue, I want to participate in addressing it, because number one, Black people need to develop thicker skins. All right. The reason why white people are so racist in the first place is because we raped Europe. See, people don't want to hear that. The Moors raped Europe and subjected those people to a system of peasantry and feudalism. That this is the reason for their racism. So I get that. Generationally, they look back on us enslaving them, us dejecting them, us reducing them to serf status. Okay. And what a lot of people don't realize is some of the first Christians were Black people. So that Inquisition had a lot of Black people killing people because they weren't Christian. And you have to understand that Christianity contributes to the ignorance that these people have, because they use religion to mask everything else. You know, slavery is okay because the man in power is endowed by God. The people in power are put in place by God, according to the Christian aspect. So people don't really look at it. You can stop racism simply by building your own. See, I get this from Elijah Muhammad. Do for self. Every time you go to a coffee shop, you get assaulted because of your complexion. Start your own coffee shop. You see, this is how I looked at it. And earlier I said it's never gonna be eradicated. That's like trying to eradicate domestic violence, man.
Yeah.
People are gonna be low rung. Okay, and therefore racism and all these other detestable human interactions are going to manifest. So if you understand that reality, your ability to cope with it is a lot better. And this is what I know from observation. Okay, whenever we create anything, they always get on board. Do you remember when hip hop first came out in 1979? It was strictly nigga music. Now we have Eminem, okay? So it's no longer going to be relegated. All we need to do is do what we do, and they'll get on board. I have a couple students that are white people, okay? Caucasian, German, Netherlands, people from Poland, okay, that I'm teaching astrology to. Color is not an issue for them or an issue with me with them. So when we see a racist astrologer gain prominence, how are you even amazed at that? Trump is president. If you can get what I'm saying with that.
We get what you're saying, Marie. You wanted to say something, and I want to say something after you.
Yeah,
I also need to turn on some lights.
I just wanted to address one of the from you woman who had left a comment saying that I hope someone is corrective and to understand that Blackness as a conception of race did not exist in the same way at the time, and it didn't. There has always been a color grade for people, regardless. Though, if we look at the Seti I temple, that designated each color of man. So there was some aspect of it. It was not the same, but it was recognized. I would say that if anything, at the most of our history, it would be what we would call xenophobia today. It would be the conquering of cultures. And if everyone looked the same in that same culture, that kind of just compounds it into the same way. So it was more culture, language, beliefs, religion, before maybe it was skin color. It doesn't mean that the people of color of skin weren't grouped into it. We've been doing this since ancient Egypt, and before it was acknowledged that they knew that there was a red, a yellow, a white, and a black man on this planet. So I just wanted to add that yes, there is the conception of that things are different, but it's nuanced on the way that it's still the same. You know, xenophobia 10,000 years ago, racism, black and white today. I beg to say, what's the difference between how one was treating the other? Somebody was subjected to someone's oppression based off of an ideology, regardless of which way it goes.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. The one thing I want to add to this, at least twofold. One, I think maybe at this point, and I don't know how long we're going to go. It's not going to go into the wee hours of the night.
No, not at all. So sorry.
One thing I want to say is that we probably need to talk about internalized racism, right? And how we can participate in our own anti-blackness, right? Because a lot of people have pointed to Ricky as Ricky was fine with it as justification.
He started that. He started that. When he said, I used to like to say that Chiron is Pluto for white people. He started
how the episode started.
Yeah. So there is this other thing that we do need to talk about, because I think that becomes an important conversation. The other thing, the nuance of it, and I want to get more into the first thing than the second thing. Ron, to your point, and where I differ significantly from your point, not that you have to do both or one, is that we did create safe spaces for us, and they fucking still come. This is where I disagree with Elijah Muhammad.
That's why I was gonna go with that part.
They still come. And so what are we going to do to secure these other spaces? Now, I think we can do
when
both.
The space is ours, let me interject this. When the space is ours, we run the house.
Right. But
internal racism, we have to still deal with what I like to call secret agents who come in and flip the script.
Right. And also to think about, how do we keep those spaces safe?
Right.
How do we protect ourselves? Because we did have our sense of space in Africa, and then what happened in terms of the slave trade? Some measure of us also got involved in that, right? Yeah. And we can't say it was just white people for it. No, it was, one part of our healing, especially in the diaspora, is that we also have to deal with the healing of those who sold us and, who also look like us.
Yeah.
Right. That's some part of that issue and thing that we also have to come to heal with.
Tribalism.
So when we talk about, and tribalism. Yeah. We just had Jupiter in Cancer, which brings forth this tribalism. So I do want to go back and say how do we contend with this aspect of anti-blackness within our own ranks?
Achieve.
Well, we have to, I would say that one suggestion, because there's going to be many, and there's a lot. One of them that I believe because I am a third house stellium, and I'm a heavy hitting third house stellium too. I have Mercury, Neptune, Jupiter, and the Sun in Capricorn the third. So I deal a lot with the structure of how people think, where their thoughts come from in the first place, how they communicate. Saturn in Aries is self-responsibility. This is the transit we're going through. And if we're going to on a collective, because I hear it all the time, we need to come together. We need to start our own communities. We need to start our own conventions. We need to start, we need to have our families together. None of that is possible if you think fucked up. None of that is possible if you don't actually self-work on your own mind and how you're perceiving things. And the safe space is having more people, I don't want to say think alike, but think with understanding. So for an example, we hear I'm going to break this out because this has irritated me to no end. Black people are not a monolith.
Absolutely.
But we say that when it's convenient. When we need to prove to the opposing side that we need to win that Black people are not a monolith. When we want to separate from what people are saying, we say Black people are not a monolith. But when it comes to a situation that one Black person doesn't agree with, you're anti-Black. You're supposed to be thinking like us. See, that's the nuance in that. That's the double-edged sword in the anti-Blackness, is that we need our community so that we can have strength in numbers. But we also need the individualism of each one of us as well, so we can express ourselves freely. We put ourselves in our own chains at the same time. So it's going to come into how each individual thinks. You know, I am an avid video gamer. One of my favorite video games is Elder Scrolls Online. And there's a particular mission where you're dealing with this one woman, and she says she's ruling a small town. And I have to ask the question, how do you rule this town without any issues? She has different races of species of people living there. You know, as this game goes, there's, you know, Argonians, there's dark elves, there's all these. And I have to ask her, how do you run this? And she says, you know, surprisingly enough, the simplest thing to do is to leave people alone. You'd be amazed how many problems go away when you just let people live. We have an issue ourselves with letting people live with our own people, because we see any divergence away as an insecurity. We have food insecurity for our own people. If you know the concept of food insecurity, you may have food in your house, but you always believe that it's going to go away and you'll never have enough and it'll never come back. So every time that we see Black people diverging from a thought that keeps us safe, we'll try to tell them that you need to come back in here. But then we also need to say that Black people aren't a monolith so that we can address different sections of life. Not everybody has to fight the same fight. That's why we have 12 houses in the zodiac. I may fight the fight in the third house. You fight the fight in the fifth house. This person fights the fight in the public. This person fights the fight behind the scenes in the 12th house. Everyone needs to be able to fight the fight where they want to. I should not be dragging my opposition into the 9th house to come fight this battle with me on people with their minds. They're like, no, I need to publish. I need to think. But no, you're anti-Black if you're not on this page with me. No, but we're not all a monolith. So we have our own confusions as well.
I hear that and I receive that. And I think that has a lot of wisdom to it. Where I would differ is that there's some who decided not to fight and to collaborate.
Yeah, the collaboration is an issue. I agree.
Right. To collaborate. And that's where I have a problem. And I was talking about this today on Threads, where we also have to be wary. You know, Ra and I, for instance, since we've both been involved in astrology for a long time, what I always have believed, though, is that he's been an active community because we've had cross sections. Like Reese has never studied with me, but he's been my friend. We've been in contact with each other. So there's always been this way in which we've been into some aspect of community. But there are people who will take on the trappings of community and really are interested in commercialization. One of the things that Ricky reportedly said, because I wasn't there during his live with Andrea, one of the things he said is like, I ain't in the astrological community.
Yes.
And that was really alarming, because I've met Ricky at astrology conferences. Never talked to him much, but I met him. So I was like, then why are you here?
The app.
What are you trying to do?
Pushing your app and your retreat or whatever.
And I'm like, so that's where I have a problem. It's one thing, and this is why I wonder about this aspect of anti-Blackness. Like, are you being individual to the point that you're not thinking about the collective at all?
Yeah.
That's my issue with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes from that rhetoric that, you know, Uranus was just in Taurus. So all that he traded for monetary, I believe somebody in the comments, I forgot who it was that said it, that capitalism is another battle that we fight, the way that people go after money, or they trade their own values and morals to get ahead. And there's the anti-Blackness rhetoric that I need to get this money with white people because they have the institutions or they have the funding. As I understand it, I could be incorrect, but is not Stephen Forrest funding this app?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's involved in that. I think he's, he actually said he has put his legacy into what Ricky is doing.
Yep. See, that was, pardon me, go ahead.
Okay.
And I was just going to say, Ricky has money of his own too. So, but he's put money in that. But what were you going to say, Rob?
That was part of the whole schemata. Okay. If you sit back and watch the video and analyze it, you know, because me and my Wiz were talking about it for about a day and a half before I said, yo, you know, until we see the video, we really don't know what we talking about. We are responding to the response. So we went and watched the video.
Yes, I did too. Yeah, I agree with you.
If you have any you're an astrologer, but let me say, if you have any psychological underpinnings to you, you understand the psychology of people, you can see how it was built up to. It's not something that happened in the spirit of 2 seconds. It was introduced early in the show.
The way the show was edited. Yeah, why was it left in? That was what my question was.
Because you know goddamn well Ricky Williams ain't blind. He ain't deaf, man. Regardless of what he said or didn't say about it, he put it out there. He wanted them to see it. And if you go back...
Because he wants to put himself outside of it, like Sam was saying. I don't want to be inside of the collective of Black people that understand that this word is harmful coming out of the mouth of a white man. I'm outside of that. I'm not in the astrological community. Hashtag, I'm not in the Black community. I'm in the human community. Being unaware, you can't jump from astrologic Black community outside of the realms in one giant leap. It doesn't work. We obviously see it. It doesn't work because it proves it doesn't work. It didn't work.
It's the political and economic dynamic. What I was trying to say was, if you pay attention to the entirety of it, he, before he did anything offensive, covered his ass with the fact that I'm investing in your product. And therefore, I should be able to use the word nigger. I mean, that's just how it came out.
Yeah. And you have Chiron as Pluto, so remember that when the word nigger comes out in 10 years. When it comes out 30 minutes later.
See when you see he built up to it. You see, people don't look at that part of the thing. That was a construct.
Oh, absolutely.
He knew he was going to get to that word.
There was, before
covered it with the shadow work.
Yeah, one thing and it was also a prelude to the workshop that they were doing this weekend. That was a setup for that as well. So it actually did have commercial basis. And one of the things I found interesting, before I watched the whole video, I was flummoxed by trying to understand, well, why would Stephen volunteer to say anything about his ancestor? And then I watched the video and I was like, oh, Leanne set him up. Why would she do that? And she also had the inset, which means she edited that into the video because I don't think Stephen could see it. So I was like, why did they put that in? And the only logical reason I can come to is like, oh, they kind of thought that this might have a certain influence, all right, a certain aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because some people have the idea that no publicity or bad publicity is better than no publicity.
No publicity.
Absolutely, they think
yeah.
I think I said that on my live earlier today. He ain't gonna be hurt by this. It's good for business.
Oh well, we saw that Stephen still has his influx of supporters and
some
things
of
that
them
matter.
Are attacking everybody.
So that's where there's going to be a diverging there. They couldn't wait. Oh, finally, a racist astrologer we can buy readings from, like who matches our ideologies, So he'll always remain and keep his own following. It's the people outside of that.
Stephen is booked for 10 years. He has a waiting list that's 10 years long.
I saw that.
Yeah. So it's not going to go away.
Which brings up questions for me because he's 77. So I'm just like, do you have a legacy plan?
Those people at the bottom of the list better start thinking.
It's a money grab. Okay, listen. If you to consider that's profound to me. It's profound that no one else has thought about that. All these people on his 10-year list. He's 77 right now. It is very rare for an American white man to reach the age of 87. Okay,
it's gonna end on the last reading he has.
I can now.
Sorry, we can no longer do it.
And I'm not just trying to clown him, but I'll say this: Stephen doesn't do live readings; they're all recorded.
What?
So there's a 10-year wait for recording.
So there's no live interaction with the reading at all?
No.
This is the issue of what happened with that bitch in France who tried to trademark. Look, Steve. Look, Sam. I don't look. Let me tell you, trying to trademark goddamn astrocartography.
Yeah,
it's the same shit.
It's the same. I talked about that today. I was like, we got to be on the lookout related to the commercialization and commercialism in astrology. I'm not faulting people who charge for their readings and whatever. Right. I do it. Rod does it. I think all of us here does it. We all do. But the question becomes like, are you not also invested in community? Are you not also invested in some way in which you're building institutions? You know, talking about that. So that is really, and to Stephen's credit, he has a school, he has an institution. But I'm still like, all right, then what is this? What are we looking at? You know, and I think some measure of this app called Leela, which I think comes from the Sanskrit word for play or being at play, which I'm like, well, why did you use that word? But irrelevant.
Because they're not for real. It's only money.
Right. I guess. And I guess the other thing, a lot of it was AI. So I'm like, really, are we talking about investiture in people? Like, could we also hire, or are we hiring other astrologers? And I don't think that's I don't know who will work for it at this point. Now, it won't be many of us, but
everybody, believe me, man. If the money right, niggas are coming. They don't care, okay? Just like Ricky didn't care, okay? To him, this whole Ricky Williams, this whole thing, it was about the promotion of his app.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have any commercial inclination, you can see that. That whole show was about promoting the app and giving the racist some air for his accomplishments, and because he's also an investor in the app. Okay, so I'm personally, everyone has their own tolerance level. Okay, Ricky's tolerance level is way higher than mine. I just would have been like, whoa, really? Nigga?
Yeah, I couldn't deal with that.
You invest in this? You know, you don't have to do that. There's a million other people who would love to invest into my project. And I think that's what Ricky Williams needs to realize morally, okay? That you sold your soul, champ, you know, by not responding to that. I feel like he should have.
Why didn't he say anything?
Because he couldn't. Because he started the shit.
Okay? Yeah, because he
with the comment that even though it was true, he said, "I used to say that Chiron is Pluto for white people. It is. Okay, it is. So the fact that he said that is really what opened the door. And
that goes to show they're not really friends. That's a farce. Because if they were truly friends, he could have. Look how we're discussing. We have agreed, disagreed, stayed. No, hold on, honey. Back up. We have. That's my Aquarius rising Cancer, Aries moon too. So he's like, "Hey, Ma, you're filming, but look." But yeah, no. If he was truly his friend, at the very least, he could have been like, "Whoa, did you just drop that? Now you know they gonna get on our ass, Steve." Like
exactly.
I'm sure they had that conversation, which is why he posted it.
This is why he was like this when he said it. I get to say it now, right? Ready, one.
I'm not referencing the white boy. I'm referencing Ricky Williams.
Yeah, he could have said something.
He edited that, man. You have to contemplate the fact that video was edited.
I think the wife edited it. We don't know this for sure, but
she did.
Okay.
Whose wife? Ricky's wife.
Ricky's wife.
Yeah.
Ricky's wife is Leanne.
Hey, Ricky, Leanne, I do synastry. I can help you out with your relationship. Like, why your wife do you like that, bro?
They're not at odds. To think that they didn't discuss that is underestimating Ricky Williams' intelligence, man. Yeah, I can't believe he's so stupid. I refuse to believe that he's so stupid that he
couldn't fathom.
No, he's feigning ignorance.
Not fathom.
You think he's feigning?
He feigned ignorance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You think he's feigning it? Okay.
What do you think?
I think he played football and he's gotten concussions in his career.
No.
That's what I think.
No, man, stop making excuses for that nigga.
Okay, I won't.
You
Hold
did.
on, I need to turn on some lights.
You're right. You're right. You're right. My bad.
Stop making excuses for him because we stopped the video to see his response.
Yeah, that's true.
His response was,
Yeah, he looked to the side and then he chuckled like he knew it. Okay.
Played the video, huh?
yeah, man, we studied it.
Yeah, we slow-moed it. Yeah.
I'm not one of those that's going to speak on something I'm not fully aware of. So I gained as much insight as I could from it. And my whiz was the one who slowed it down. Was like, yo, look at the expression on his cat face. You see what I'm saying?
White people on Threads, this was fascinating to me. They watched that video and said, like, he was caught by surprise. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
Oh, no, he was not caught by surprise. He has a straight face.
What are y'all thinking? He was smiling. I was like, he was fine. He was fine.
Yeah.
People who ever
Of course he's fine. Of course he's fine.
Yeah, people who ever watched the video, who always say, like, well, the horror of saying that to a black call, I'm like, there was no horror. That's the other thing we need to talk about. Like, fine.
If
that had happened to me, I'd be like, what did you say?
The which article?
The archive link to the original podcast, the one that's been archived. I can post
I can get it
to people, so if they want to look at it, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and grab it.
Brilliant.
Look at it for yourself. It's not the edited one. There's an edited one on there.
Oh,
that they put up.
What the edited one has what? What's missing?
Oh, the N-word, I believe. I haven't looked at that.
Oh, no, the one that I found has it. It has it.
No, the original. That's the original.
And it's in the 41st minute.
Yes, Gamal remembered that shit.
It's the 41st minute, 22 seconds into
Exactly. I said 41 minutes so they can hear what comes before it.
Yeah.
But it's in the 41st minute. And man, please. He was overwhelmed. He was gleefully he had so much happiness in his eyes when he used the word.
He said it twice. He said N-word because we said the N-word because and then he looked at Ricky and said, "I'm sure you know about it, nigger." I was like, "Whoa, how you gonna ask for him?" He looked him straight in his face and said, "I'm sure you know about it. I'm sure you know about it. You know about this."
That was so cringe.
Yeah.
The fact that he first said, "Well, I'm financing your app."
Yeah, so let's set the power dynamic.
Yeah, then he said the N-word. Then he said, "I'm sure you know, having been called it several times in your life."
Yes.
Yo, that shit there is blowing me. And I'm like, because I see your pause that shit. That nigga whipping that shit? Like, so to say that Ricky was oblivious, no, he wasn't. He's being professional.
Yeah. He was smiling, actually.
Yeah, he definitely was smiling. That was definitely very clear.
Because you're financing my app, massa. I'm going to let you go ahead and say whatever you want. You dig? Because I need that financing. Shit, I might not find another nigga as sweet as you. I'll take that. I'll take the N-word. I'll take the N-word from you because you're paying for my app.
Right.
That's what that was, man. You see, and to think is anything other because we know we accuse them of being racist when they insist they're not being. You understand? Like clutching the purse. That's not a racist gesture to her. That's a safety concern. You see? So they find something else to put it off on anyway, even when they do. So Ricky being a black man, being in the NFL, which is a very racially structured organization.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
So he was fully aware of what was going on. That it didn't hit him later. It hit him right there in the moment when the dude said it. Because his eyes deflected quickly.
Mm-hmm.
He went to, oh, God, I don't even know how to respond to that. Yeah, you don't know how to respond because you didn't expect that he was going to be that blunt about it. He's going to be that forward with it.
Did the poem where he uses the N-word, did that come before that or after that moment? Remember when he used it in his poem, Run? Run, nigga, run? Did that come? Which way did it?
I don't even remember that because I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not watch the entire.
You're talking about the Run, Ricky, Run thing?
He said run, nigga, run.
Oh,
that's actually from Invisible Man.
Ah.
Keep that nigga running.
See, I'm not familiar with what Sam is referring to. I'm totally lost right now.
That was in the story. Maybe someone in the chat can remember. But
yeah.
No, they said the poem was after.
The poem
so
was
that's
after.
even that. Yeah. So that was even like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to use it too. Yeah.
The whole fact that he was tolerant of it, I am so sure, is because this guy's paying for his act, man. And that he went through hell and high water to find somebody.
And it's his legacy leaving to him, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, you know, racism is going to be a thing for the next hundreds of years.
I think this fracture needed to happen, though. I mean, like, there's always a catalyst for something. And this was definitely, because we've been talking about it for years, but it took Steven and Ricky for people that weren't talking about it to start talking about it. You know,
I wanted to say that the French and the English niggerized each other for centuries, but they eventually got through it, okay? But there are still people that have the animosity that came from that initial confrontation hundreds of years ago. So it is not about eradicating it. It's about imposing on people the fact that they need to treat people like they want to be treated. I mean, you can be as racist as you want. I don't care. You ain't got to bring it to me.
Yeah, stay out my face.
Yeah, keep your racism.
Don't treat me any different based off of it.
Then you can be as racist as you want to be. I got rent to pay. Okay, my concern is to pay my rent.
I hear you too, but one thing I think white folks in the main, Europeans in the main, realize is that their hegemony is not necessarily going to endure. And they're preparing where they can see the transfer of power either to other people of color that they seem to trust. You know, this is some measure of the plate tectonics that we're seeing shift from Uranus and Taurus to Uranus and Gemini. Wait till we get to Uranus and Cancer, where we see more of this is going to shift because the Chinese are ascending. The Indian subcontinent is ascending. What'd you say?
The BRICS.
Oh yeah, BRICS. So there's a lot more that's shifting in America, and this is the one thing I think, because I've been talking about this I'm on another predominantly black platform, which is headed up by Karen Hunter. And one of the things I've been talking about on there is that we need to start preparing for this shift for a different kind of America. I get what Ra is saying, and I mainly agree. I think racism as we know it will persist, but white people as we've known them will not. Not in the same way. They can't. They're not producing. You know, whenever I want to be mean, you know, someone gets too far on things. It used to be more on Twitter. I say, like, you're not reproducing fast enough. None of that's going to happen for you.
Yeah, and then the way that it's being handled right now, you know, they were used to silence. They were used to silence. They were used to the way of Ricky is what they're accustomed to. Steven even said it. I remember when we used to be able to do shit and y'all didn't say shit. That y'all couldn't do shit, that we were running the institutions. Now, so I agree even on that fact that they won't be able to exist in the same way that they have because the way we are now won't allow it.
Yeah,
the way that we're changing the structure won't allow it. The way that social media is being used for us won't allow it. No, yeah, and that's one thing I'm proud of with our younger people is that they know respectability politics is a sham and a scam. They know that. And where I think that may have come from is they saw a black president and it didn't matter in that way. It's like, oh, he was the most respectable of folks, respectable. And it didn't matter how they treated him. Yep.
So they're like, oh, so what am I doing this for?
Exactly.
What am I going to be nice for? You know, I'm going to just beat your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to express ourselves in the way that we wish to, because it whatever it is that they are accustomed to living in this like someone said, a shield, but it's basically the restrictions around us that we must all participate. The fracturing, this angriness that I see, this rage and trying to fight against us because we're bucking this shit, is because we're operating outside of that boundary and still remaining successful. That's the part that really
That's where I was going right there. And Pluto is in Aquarius opposing Leo. Okay.
Yeah.
The Vedic astrologers, and I like this technique, okay, because it works, right? That they look at you don't need any planets in Leo for that opposition to manifest itself. So centrality and fractalization is how I'm polarizing Aquarius and Leo. And with Pluto there, if a transformation doesn't take place, that's what it's saying to me. That's how I'm delineating it, right? If a Pluto doesn't take place, if a transformation doesn't take place, then the fractalization is going to be crazy. But to think that the fractalization isn't going to happen anyway is ridiculous. And this is a normal human response. Okay.
But there is an opposition, right? The opposition is to Jupiter, which goes back to 2020, where we had the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. And the opposition, to your point, is the Pluto in Leo generation.
Yeah, of course.
This is for them.
Oh, yes.
This is for them.
Oh, so, fucking them up.
Well, it's going to have a very, let me say, it's for everybody. So let me say that it's going to impact them and the way they see things. Well, my thing is this. This song is cliche. God bless the child that's got his own. So the only way, really, that we can easily change this dynamic is to create our own. Then they will have to come, and that will eradicate any justification for a racist overtone. If I'm saying this correctly, because I suck,
I get what you're saying, but
when we have our own, and they're like, damn, they having a whole lot of fun over there. Them niggers who we have dejected to our racism are excelling. I think we need to go over there. That's going to happen. So when you say they still come, the way to defeat it is to build our own, and they will have to come to us.
I hear what you're saying, but I disagree on a very important nuance. And that is, I'll go back to go forward. In the early 20th century, there's a debate that surfaced in the late 19th century between W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington.
I knew you were going
And
there.
Booker T. Washington had the argument that if, to some measure of your point, if we build not just our own, but if we centralize and control particular industries, they have to come to us in order to get these resources. And this becomes the way in which we wield power and can affect change related to them. W.E.B. Du Bois differed with that, simplifying some aspects of it, but he differed with that and said, no, we should push for more integration and more of our civil rights. I think we can come back to the point of saying, we need to build more of our own in order to leverage that power, I'll say it, against them.
That's my point.
Or employ them toward us. That requires us to be able to come together, create more institutions, not so much that we can stay insulated and isolated, but to put it simply, we need to control more industries, because that seems to be the leverage and the thing that leverages more power or builds more power related to them. To become insulated, I don't know if that does anything for us long term.
Well, I wasn't saying that we create our own and just leave it just for us and exclude them. I'm saying that racism is a factor. It does not appear to be going anywhere before my death. Okay, I'm not going to live to be 200 years old. So
right.
What would be the solution for us right now? Build your own, because when you do, they come, and we're able to mitigate and have more control when it's ours. You see,
that's true.
So we don't have that. We won't have that issue. See, if Ricky wasn't dependent on that dude to be an investor in his app, he probably would have responded a lot differently. But because he needs this guy's financial input, he wide open. Wide open to any offense. I can take that because at the end of the day, I'm gonna have what I came here for. So you gotta understand the motivation here. But it ain't just about that. It's about racism, period. Okay? And it's more at this point about our response to the racism than it is of the racism itself, because it's not going anywhere. It's like if the United States government was severely oppressive on us, okay? Then we would have. No, it is. It really is. But I'm saying it could be worse.
Yeah.
Because historically it's been worse. So the fact that it isn't until we do our own thing and separate, okay, we separate and do our own thing, that gets their attention and earns their respect, okay? And you know, I heard a racist say it. I was watching a video on TikTok. He says, we, like he's talking for us racists, are waiting for black people to get their shit together and get their own thing. Okay? So the problem with that is when we do and when we have, you still came to destroy it. Well, that's our fault.
Someone made that point in the chat too.
That's our fault. That's our fault. We are responsible for defending our castle. You build a castle, you're going to have to defend it. To think that because you built the castle, you should be left alone is ridiculous. You can't show me where that's ever happened in history.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
The point is, build your castle. Build a castle. You don't like the way these white boys is treating you? Get away from them. Build your own shit. They're going to have to come to you. And if you anywhere about it, like our ancestors, you're going to excel them.
And it's a new playing field. You know, that Uranus, Pluto is working together when it comes to being outspoken, to stopping, to changing, to transforming things. We're actually in a better situation to build and reach out to other people than we have been, say, during
and that's what's happening.
The Sam Ra era of astrology, the Black Planet and MySpacers.
Oh, it's still our
AOLs.
Era. It's still our era.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Don't get it fucked up. Don't get it fucked up. It's still Sam and Ra's era.
Yeah.
He said, don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Okay. I was
still
talking
shit. We ain't past our scepter.
We learned from y'all anyway. I can't take that away.
I'm still here. I'm still dealing with that craziness. Yeah. And this is what I come to understand too. Okay. It should not keep you from excelling astrologically.
We're gonna go harder.
I'm living proof. Listen, I've been feeding my family with astrology. No side jobs. No nothing. Just astrology lessons, students and clients. I've been doing it for 10 years. Steadily. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is it's an opposition in terms of the whole dynamic, the holistically. But it's not going to keep you from progression. Don't let it keep you from progressing. Okay?
And studying.
That's right. Because you don't need them. There's only a few racist astrologers out there that have any impact. So while racism is a giant, racism in astrology is not a giant. Okay, we each cater to whatever mob of people we encounter. All right, I have more Caucasian students and clients than black ones. Okay, see, and my goal wasn't to just serve black people.
Wait, that's news to me. Was that always true? That just happened recently? Because I always felt like you had a lot of black students.
Well, at the beginning. At the beginning, I had a lot.
But like he said, once you build it, they come. He built COZMOPHYZIX.
Listen,
they
man.
Came.
See, I gotta say this, and you know, I used to get on people for saying this shit, but I understand why. Some of my favorite students are the white ones. You dig what I'm saying? I know that sounds racist as hell, but they grabbed the white students I've had didn't give me the problems that some of my black students gave. You understand what I'm saying? They were a lot more passive in the transmission of the lessons and the absorption of it, where I get resistance from my people. Okay. And that's not going to stop me from catering to my people. I'm just trying to say that once you build your own, if the product is good, it's a good product, man. Okay. We're not the biggest importer. As racist as America is, it's the biggest importer in the world. So obviously they ain't got no problem with the color of the person they're getting their shit from. You understand what I'm saying? So if you build your own, white people are going to come to you because there are white people that are not racist, man. You get what I'm saying? They do.
Well, I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So there are white people
don't actively participate in racism.
Right. That's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean. There are white people who have no ill intent. Okay. And I know because they've come to me and they understand my position already because I'm vocal about it. Every one of my white students is I know how you are. I done watched you for years. So they don't even give a fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
When people aren't racist, they don't care. They're not judging you for your race. So so build your own. And the non-racist and the racist is going to come if your product is good. Your concern should be with producing good product. Fuck them racists, man.
Which is interesting because they often will think that kind of going more what they talk about in terms of DEI or more diversity is that it's somehow lesser in quality. And it's always been fascinating to me. I'm like, well, why would you think that? Because what they don't understand is that we know more about your culture, more about you than many of you know about yourselves and know anything about me or about my people.
Yep.
So it's always fascinating to me that they think like we're lesser in quality or capability.
Well, they've been trained to believe that.
Right.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? I lived in Lake Placid, New York. Only black family there was my family, okay? And I'm the only offspring, so I didn't have any peers, all right? They recognize us for the stereotypes, okay? Because every time it was time to play basketball or football, they was like, I want him on my team.
Of course.
Now watch this. I suck at basketball. I'm not even a basketball player. Okay? Right. See, so those stereotypes and things, they can work for you too. Okay? See, so I don't have a problem with a person being racist. I have a problem with them being racist towards me, you know? And that may be double standard to some people. But, you know, I can only deal with people as I come across them.
Yeah, right? You have no control over anybody else.
Racism hasn't kept me an ex-convict. Okay? I'm an ex-convict. I did 12 years in prison. It hasn't kept me from being able to feed my family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With astrology, it's kept me from being able to get a job. It's kept me from being able to actively function like a normal, everyday human being. But it hasn't kept me from feeding my family. You see? And that's my concern. Well, everybody's going to, watch this here. 3 months from now, everybody's going to find something else to jump on. Okay? So that's how much of an issue it is in real life. He didn't hurt nobody. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm not saying go easy on him. What I'm saying is, if you're going to be real about it, most white people in positions of influence are fucking racist. Okay? Just look at how many black people they're employing or extending that opportunity to see their racism. Okay? This is something that is going to be. We need to find a more efficient way to deal with it. And one of them is to build your own. And it's not just astrology, man. You don't like the way they treat you at this restaurant because you're black? Build your own restaurant, man. You see? This was always a solution, and it always worked for us. So I'm just reminding people of that. You know, he's a racist. Don't buy his shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep my foot on their necks.
Yeah.
Sorry,
if you believe he's got remorse about using that word, you just deceive him.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He does not. He didn't care.
I think it's not just about, I think it's also going back to getting our resources. So for instance, you know, I keep a long memory and I keep receipts, as Janae can attest to.
Yes.
Another person, I'm gonna mention a name. Benjamin Dykes came out of his face in 2020, talking about black people, you know, and people out in the streets and saying that there was also this kind of mob. And I have a line of his books right here because I understand that he also has had access to information and knowledge. And I think we can't negate getting that knowledge, and we don't have to get into according or platforming the person. There's a difference.
Yeah, I have his books too. Those green books, I have all of them.
Yeah.
And I advocate them, okay? Because he has some hella good information in there.
He does have some great information.
I don't even care that Benjamin Dykes may be racist. I don't care. I don't have to deal with Benjamin Dykes. I got his books. They're pretty good too. He points out in the book that mashallah, Ibn Arabi used Saturn and Capricorn to denote black people.
Mm-hmm.
You see? You can't not expect it. So
and there's also the thing. Yeah, well, I mean, I know some people are disagreeing with us, and that's good too. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, we are not a monolith. We don't have to be a monolith. But one thing I will say, because some people is getting the information for free. Maybe they're going to Anna's archive. Look it up. Go to Wikipedia. There's a link. You can get books for free. I think that's fine, right? But I think the key thing, get the information. Just don't rely on old books, old knowledge.
Right.
Stay alert.
Right.
Stay active. Keep learning.
Right.
Because they have access to resources that we haven't had.
Yeah,
So-
all of those old manuscripts that he translated, right?
Yeah, and I don't, even if people aren't aware, if they don't know who, say, for instance, Bobby Hemmett is, he had said the same thing one time in his lecture. And, I think he had like a degree in theology and stuff. And he said, a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you that I'm able to research is because they went down there and started digging people up. Black people weren't digging people up. We were leaving graves alone.
It's
We
true.
were, we don't touch the sacred. And they were going in there going, let me see this. And now we have that information because they went and did that. Yeah, we don't like the method that they did, but are you going to give up what you learned?
I said this on Facebook years ago. I said, I was in a debate with one of our brothers about the movement and our history, and I was using a book written by Gerald Massey as my source for the retort, and his response was, "Oh, you gonna run and use a white man's book?" I said, my man, Sheikh Anta Diop and Dr. Pen Yusuf Yakanan, they had to go to France to study Africa, Chan.
Hey, let me interject really quickly because I want to address what Toy D. Zirko said. Yeah. Y'all making excuses, so I'm gonna head out. Okay, let me clarify what's happening here because there was a point where you missed where you were excited that we were ragging on racist white people to then the part that got skipped over because it got bubbled up. I don't know what happened there. To now we're giving solutions for our people to continue studying and working and building on their own. Now, one of the things that happens when you find that somebody that you read, or like with Stephen Forrest, there may be people who learn from his books, that you find out that his morals are deplorable. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to do the easy thing, which is not always the right thing. You're going to throw all that you learned, all that's written down and everything out of the window. You are going to isolate your mind is what's going to happen. You're going to end up creating a bubble in your thoughts and your research that only exists for where you can find where it's going to work. I only want to read books only by these people, by this.
My response to that is, where did we make an excuse for the nigga? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I look, that's why I said people say that I'm not as I could be.
Right.
But the making excuses, you are conflating two different issues. We literally, what happened was we moved on to a new subject. We got the racism. I'm not even going to use that word because I was so sick of them on them. Like, we condemn that word. No, what I'm saying is we gave the history, how we felt about it. We did not let anybody off the hook. If you look at this whole live, and then we moved on to, we need to gather resources. Guess what we're going to do? Okay. They plunged and pillared and took our scrolls. Well, I'm going to plunge and pillar and take them back. What the fuck are you talking about? You get what I'm saying? Like, so now we're making excuses about don't burn the books, motherfucker. Get the shit, hurry up, write the shit down, make your own book when you put it into practice, and keep recirculating the fucking info, become the manufacturer of knowledge.
And I also want to mention someone else. So we also have newer people like Ali Alomi, Dr. Ali Alomi, who's also going back to these source texts, and he has a Patreon. And so he is someone who can speak Farsi, Pahlavi, and Arabic, to go to some of these original sources, so we're not just reliant on Benjamin Dykes and other folks.
Right.
But we have to kind of we have to start somewhere. Just like I started with Robert Zoller, who got some shit wrong. For instance, I was teaching my class today on a technique called Fardars, Fardaria. And I was married to a Persian, and I was teaching something that Robert Zoller said. He said that the Persians couldn't pronounce P's, so it was called Fardars. And I was teaching this to my class from his text. And my Persian wife at the time was like, what do you mean? And she was off on the side. She's a Sag with a moon in Leo. She was on the side saying, like, what do you mean Persians can't pronounce P's? We're Persian, right? That's a P. Persepolis. And what I realized instantly is like, oh, he had it wrong completely. It was the Arabs who couldn't pronounce the P.
Right.
So it was more, I was like, oh, so we actually have to start somewhere, evaluate these texts, get the information, and probably make more of the corrections.
Yeah, because who's going to know? Yeah. Who knows that Farsi is Arabic for Persian? Farsi isn't even a Persian word. It's Arabiya. Wow.
Oh, y'all just. I hope I don't want to keep everybody forever. I'm the type of person that can stay as long as other people can.
It's like 10:39 your time.
Yeah, it's 10:39. Yeah.
East Coast. All right.
Yes, East Coast.
Well, this was fun. So you're gonna get Ra and me together again. Are you gonna sing some more for us? Ra, you gonna sing some more for us? We're gonna do a duet.
No, man, you don't want me singing.
Look, Sam, Ra, look, check this out. SGC, I'm telling you, the Spiritual Gangster Certified is the network for this. This is where we should build our own, right? We need a panel that has our people, amongst others, to come in here and talk about astrology, the nature of the world, and anything else, you know. So this was a breakthrough.
When I started it was bigger than me. I didn't know what it was going to be. Me and my backwards ass chart. Ra always is like, hi, Libra, to remind me of things. And I am, he reminds me of things quite often. But with Libra rising and me being right in the middle of my nodal opposition, like it just started. I have a 29-degree Leo North Node in the 11th.
Oh, you're Regulus. Okay.
Yes, I'm Regulus. It took forever to figure that out, to find this balance, especially with helping in the background versus standing out. But this was never about me. I've been telling Marie this for like 7 years. I've been telling her what I saw for education, for camps, for kids, for the larger astrological community that I'm not seeing happen. It's not necessarily exclusive of other people, but it definitely starts with our own. So this is a place and a space that I want to build into that. So I thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for organizing it. Yeah, and having us. So let's talk more about it. And also, you put your articles in the chat?
Yes, and I'm gonna link everybody, because this is recorded. If you missed anything, you can run it back. You can definitely do that.
And I think you can add us as collaborators too on YouTube.
Yes, so I sure can.
Yeah, on YouTube do that. Yeah, we have YouTubes. And I guess the other thing, so I will be at UAC. I'm speaking at UAC.
Okay.
So I will be there. So folks are coming, please come by. My students, I'm organizing something for my students who are also going to be there. So that's where you can find me in about a month's time.
Yep. And also I have, because I don't share it enough, but I did create a journal because this is a very emotional time for a lot of people.
Yes, it is.
So you can find it on Amazon. It's the tracking, it's the lunar journal, tracking our emotions.
Hold on. Are we getting out of here now?
Yeah.
Hold on. I wanted to ask Sam something personally. I mean, personally, but not personal. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
How do you feel that astrology define? What would we use astrologically to define racism? I have my idea already.
This is good. I'll be right back.
There's a couple things. But I'm interested in Sam's intellectual contribution to that idea. How would you say racism astrologically?
Someone asked this question on Threads recently, and I know. Do you and Everest share a similar sensibility related to that? Because I know he's talked about that really.
Yes, we do. It was a conversation between he and I that spurred him to write that article on race and astrology.
I think there's a couple planets to kind of draw from Jupiter, Pluto.
Yeah, exactly.
Related to it, and understanding the broad conception of it. But I want to go back to what Marie said. It really relates to. In the broad sense of it, it's xenophobia, ultimately. And there's a spectrum of xenophobia that would be, I don't know if it's as, I don't spend a lot of time evaluating white people related to racism. What I do focus on, especially related to us, what I've observed for us, it's more Leo. So for instance, when you look at Malifikete Asante, you look at Marcus Garvey, you're going to find more expressions related to Leo and the idea of the heart as quote unquote race men or race people. And maybe even along that axis, whether we're talking about Leo and Aquarius, whether we're talking about Toni Morrison, whether we're talking about Frederick Douglass, all these other people, that's one way in which I would talk about responses related to race. I don't spend as much time evading racism about white people.
Okay, that's profound. I didn't give it context strictly for the white person, because astrology is a universal language that it speaks to the thing, not the group of people. It speaks to the nature of a thing, not a group of people. Okay. So, right. So, you know, people have made comments like Cancer rules black people, or Capricorn is indicative of black people. Like, you can't really isolate one symbol to our folks, but to the act of racism, I say it's a Pluto, Jupiter, Pluto, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Jupiter thing. And to the xenophobia, I say that it is Neptune, because Neptune is fear. I'm aware that you don't use that outer planet, right? But Neptune
I use outer planets. Where'd you get that? I use outer planets. I don't use them as rulers. Okay, I get you. Yeah, but that comment that you made, I don't use them as rulers, led me to believe that you don't use them. And a lot of classical astrologers don't pay them any mind, right? And no, I'm not that school.
Yeah, and I get why you don't use them as rulers, because you can't ignore what it was done for thousands of years before they came to to recognition. But at any rate, I believe that Neptune, the 12th house ruler, and the 9th house ruler, the relationship between those two planets in the chart, have a lot to do with a person's tendency to racism or to xenophobia and what have you. And that's what I wanted to add before we left this conversation.
So, poor Ron was all like, wait, we're leaving?
Because I waited till everybody got their thing off, and then I missed when we started ducking out, but now I get it. So now that I've been able to insert that and ask Sam personally without having to call him behind the scenes, I'm ready to let y'all go. Bye.
Okay.
Okay. Well, before I go, I was interrupted. I do have a journal that has actual moon information, moon affirmations, moon tracking in it. It's the Lunar Journal, Tracking Our Emotions by Marie Rousseau. It's on Amazon. So especially because emotions are high, this would be a good way to follow the moon in your own chart and get a pattern of how you're feeling during different cycles.
This is her book. It's on my shelf.
Oh yeah, look, she has it.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. There it is. So, yep, that's that. And then, of course, you follow Jovi Saturn. They know me as Marie Rousseau. That was my original, how I started off with, but I branded off into the Jovi Saturn, which is Jupiter Saturn, because I have Jupiter in Capricorn conjunct my sun. I am Jupiter Saturn, very much so. So, yes. Signing out. Follow me on social media. Follow. Now I'm going to speak for everybody. Follow Sam. Follow Rob. Follow Janae. And it's been lovely. Thank you so much. Huh?
Are your articles in the chat, Janae?
I had put them in earlier. Do you want me? I will put it back.
Yeah, put them in again. And I just want to say,
sure.
Marie, I've gotten to interact with you a lot more in the last 4 or 5 years. And watch your progress. And, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you doing the work that you're doing. And Ra, I was so excited. I didn't know it was your idea, but when Marie reached out to me, I was like, I never we've never talked face to face.
Yeah.
We've never even talked on the phone. It's only just been so. I've also followed your work. I sent some people to you. I think you met Chameleon, and she did an interview of you, and I was trying to get you to do more work with her and other things. So I'm glad we've done this and that we've met face to face, man to man, human to human, and just in terms of that. And Janae, just keep writing and keep doing the work. You know, so I really appreciate all that you're doing. I think other people
more content and a whole bunch is on the way. I'm just
you
know, and my fiance, she knew about you too. She was like, oh yeah, I buy her brand. I buy, because you do clothing, right? As well.
Well,
so
no. See, that's another thing. Someone was like, "Why did you choose Spiritual Gangsta? Why?" Like, in response to the stuff going on with Steven, I said, "Did you ask that about there's a clothing brand called Spiritual Gangster. I'm Spiritual Gangsta certified." So
I see.
Yes, I thought it was a little bit. I was like, "Do you go over there and ask them that?" Her point was, "Oh, you're identifying yourself under a gangster word. Please don't come over here."
No, she buys the clothing. I don't.
They're a yoga brand. They're a yoga brand. Like, I don't know a lot past the fact that people are like, "I can't believe your brand name is so close." I'm like,
I had no problem with it, and she had no problem with the name. I don't know what that's about. I mean, it's just racism.
Letting people know what I saw online, like comments like that. This conversation was necessary, but there needs to be more, and there will be. And there's such great stuff coming. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you for having the platform.
Thank you for doing it. Yeah. Thank you for coming, Sam.
Yes.
My brand has a special spelling. It's COZMOPHYZIX. You can find me on Instagram,
Patreon, YouTube, everywhere.
Yep, everywhere.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
All right, have a good night.
Bye.
Okay. Does it stop? Hold on. I said